What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes checking in here on a Thursday morning. Excited to talk to our guest. He's one of our favorites, Brendan Loughnane, a featherweight who cuts his teeth over at PFL. He's got a big fight coming up. It's the finals yet again for Brendan Loughnane. But Brendan, this is old hat for you, huh? Just cruising through a season and getting to the big money fight.
I mean, here we go again, fellas.
Yeah. Do you even get excited about the millie anymore? Or is it more about the goal, the legacy? What really gets your tail wagging?
Well, I'm still in the same spot that I was in before I had the million. I've still got an old T-shirt on, so it's not going to change too much getting another million, let me tell you. But it's pretty cool to have one on each shoulder, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Do you think you personally or other fighters spend the million once you get to that fight? Because, a lot of it's confidence, positivity. Ain't no way you're walking in there thinking you're going to lose. So does the money, in a way, almost trick your mind for a few weeks where you have to cast it aside before you start spending it?
honestly, I bought an apartment, one or two little things along the way, a nice watch, but I didn't go too crazy. There's still plenty of the other million left. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna change too much around here, as crazy as that sounds.
Mm-hmm. So it is about that the legacy, the two belts, and just doing something that maybe sets you apart from other former champs. Some champs have only won it one time, for
You know
example.
what it is? It's getting out of bed every day with a massive purpose and something really, really hard to do. And there's nothing like a PFL tournament to get you out of bed in the morning. So I think that's what it is. I enjoy it's literally the hardest possible thing that I could do in my day. And that's what I like about it. I like getting up. I like training. I like cutting weight. I like preparing for the fight. I like the actual fight. I like partying after the fight. I like relaxing. I like eating after the fight and starting again and just being on the wheel. And I enjoy it now.
What are the final words that a coach or a friend or someone in your corner tells you? Like, when you're in the locker room and they say it's time, is just something where they remind you why you do all this for, or anything like that? Something that kind of gets you up, or maybe it's even before you step into the cage.
No one don't need to tell me it's fight time, baby. As soon as I do my little cartwheel into the cage, I lock eyes with the other guy. It's on. It's on. And there's no feeling like it.
Would you almost say you're a self-motivator in the sense that even like the grind, the practices, or anything, like no one needs to be on top of you? Like you're almost leading the way in your camp?
Yeah, I'm my own boss, and I have been for many, many years now. And obviously, I have coaches in different areas, striking coaches, wrestling coaches, and I literally text them all the same thing. I want the hardest possible workout you can give me today. I just like training really, really hard and being uber prepared for these moments.
That's interesting. And why is that, you think? Just because, like, to push yourself or to push them?
I enjoy training really hard and getting better and being really fit and feeling good. There's nothing like when I first started listening to David Goggins, right? Started listening to his books and stuff. He starts talking about this place that you go to in your mind. And then I resonated with it because when you're doing them ultra marathons and all the stuff that he's doing, I've not done one of them yet, but I can relate it to a real hard 2 hour wrestling grind where it's just like, whoa, and you just want to stop, but you keep going, and that little voice that comes in your head. So I guess, I find a lot of similarities in things like that.
It's Riyadh season, baby, and the finals are coming up for PFL on Friday, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, if you will. They're in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the finals, and our guest here headlines that event, Brendan Loughnane versus Timur Khizriev. Featherweights at the top of the bill. I love it. All right, Goes, what do you have for our guest, Brendan Loughnane?
Brendan, have you ever been in a haunted house before? You ever gone through one of those?
How did I know you was going to come out with some random stuff on this show again?
You ever done that before? You ever gone through on Halloween?
Well, no, there's a place near mine called Witches Tunnel where we used to run down it as a kid, and there used to be witches in the middle of it apparently, but I've never seen any witches, unfortunately.
Well, the first time you do it, you're probably scared, right? But once you do it a couple times, it's different. It's a different experience, right? So what I'm getting at is your situation now here in the finals. You've done this before. Are the nerves the same? Is there a different feeling every single time? or because you've been there before, does it almost give you the advantage of knowing what to go through and how to kind of prepare your emotions?
As crazy as this sounds, 2022 was a crazy season, right? Because I was like, right, this $1 million, I've got so much riding on this $1 million. It's my family's future. It's this and that. It's my world title. Proving people wrong. There was so much going into it. Now it's just like, whatever. I've just enjoyed the whole year. I'm really showing my versatility in martial arts. I've taken every fight as it comes, and I'm loving every second of it.
Have you ever been in a position where you've given your opponent too much respect?
Potentially over the years, yeah, but this is my 36th pro fight now. So I've been around, I've fought them all, I've fought some different, really, really different styles. And let's have it right. We all know what this fight's going to be. I'm going to try and knock him out, and he's going to try and hold me until the end of the fight. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Because you've been with the PFL for so long and at a high level, is there ever any pressure to kind of almost not only are you representing yourself, your own brand, but maybe the PFL and their caliber of athlete as well as compared to some of the other leagues out there? Do you ever feel that pressure?
Well, not really, but the interview I did just before you, they were like, "Oh, you know that you're 3-0 against Bellator," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." So Bellator came over and I beat 3 of their guys, 3 of their top 10 fighters, and now I'm about to beat the 4th one.
That's an interesting stat. I like it.
You like that one?
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year, remember they had champions versus champions, and that night it went well for Bellator. You know, one night can somehow dictate the minds of fans and media. So I like hearing that stat because I always thought every league presents great fighters out there. It's just a matter of the cross fights happening, you know, but they don't happen too often. But I like hearing that stat. Okay. Who were the 3? You know off the top of your head? Or did they tell you? I guess Carvalho, Kamaka,
Carvalho, the guys I
and
fought. Yeah,
Gonzalez. Okay, the
Carvalho.
last one.
Bubba?
Yeah.
And you beat
Oh,
Marias, a former WSOF champ, and also
I
in
mean 3
UFC.
this year, consecutive.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jenkins. Oh, you got a lot of names here. Okay, got it. Yeah. You travel around the world and train around the world. I know one spot is Thailand. You said recently you've been in the US a lot, but I've seen you in the Middle East. During those times, have you been able to get training with a lot of Dagestani fighters where that will help your preparation for Timur?
I've trained with them for over a decade now at Tiger Muay Thai. I know exactly what I'm up against, and I've seen that style multiple times.
That style that gets praised a lot, what is it? Is it just, are they just tenacious dudes who will we tip our hat to? Strength? Is it their techniques, game planning? What is it that makes them so tough but not unbeatable?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what it is, but it's definitely something. They're really talented everywhere. I'm not really sure what it is, but you know that region seems to be producing some amazing fighters.
When he's doing interviews, he's probably asked about how's he going to defend those leg kicks? What about that speed, the hands that are coming at him? He's got concerns too. Do you worry about those and try to exploit those, or do you focus more on your game?
Listen, he's going to try and take me down. We don't, we're not beating around the bush here, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a Dagestani versus an English striker. We all know what's going to happen. Whoever can implement it will be the PFL world champion in 2024.
I love it. I like that you don't seem deterred, from like the real crux of it, right? His grappling, your striking. So that means you're a prepared fighter, and that's important.
Listen, let's have it right, guys. It ain't no different to 2022. Bubba Jenkins coming in, wrestling. Guess how many takedowns he got, fellas? 0. The fight before that, Chris Wade, another wrestler. Guess how many takedowns he got, fellas? 0. Don't be surprised if this guy does not take me down. Don't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brendan, essentially, are you telling us this ain't your first pub crawl?
This is not my first wrestler rodeo.
Gotcha.
17-0. Will you take as much pleasure in beating him because you can handle his first L simultaneously?
Correct. But, I think he's the one that's stepping up in the level here. If you look at our last 10 opponents, my levels are way higher than his last 10 opponents. You know, we don't know how good he actually is yet, but we'll find out.
Do you like the fact that the fights are in Riyadh? I mean, it's the host, so I'm sure you have to be kind and all that, but would you have preferred a US-based company maybe in the United States or something out of the box, maybe even in the UK where PFL has also done well and the fans receive them well?
I'm done with the States. I'm done with 22-hour flights from here to the States. Like, I'm so glad I just have to travel 6 hours.
22 hours? Where'd you get that one from? Are you coming on the whatever version of the Titanic exists or what?
From Phuket to some parts of the States.
Oh. Okay. Got it.
That's what it takes.
And it's only 6 hours if you go the back way to Riyadh?
Amazing.
Oh, okay. Brendan, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Any quick thoughts? I know you're a huge Manchester United fan. They're off to a slow start, but they got a new manager who's been highly praised, and hopefully he can turn things around. And it sucks that we won't maybe still get a little bit of Ruud van Nistelrooy in our lives because it was fun seeing him at the helm. But any thoughts there?
Well, listen, lads, I appreciate you both putting your Manchester United jerseys on for Brendan Loughnane's interview. Listen, it means the world. The Reds are going to come back stronger. Brendan's going to win on November, and we're all going to be world champions this year. We're going to be league champions, and we're going to be world champions. How about that?
I like it. I feel better about yours. Let's just say that because we're in 13th place. But I love the positivity. All right, my man. I know you got a lot of these, and best of luck with the rest of the training headed your way, your weight cut, and have a great night on the 29th. Folks, you can catch this fight on ESPN Plus. It's full of title fights and great athletes competing on that card. So order that pay-per-view. Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, guys.